They can tell you about themselves and what their priorities are. And then we've got some questions for the lightning round. You'll be able to ask each other a challenge question of your opponent if you so choose, and then we'll have closing remarks. So with that, John, we're going to ask you to lead us off with your opening statement.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank everybody.
Microphone.
Do I really need that?
Yeah, the people in the back.
Okay. All right, first of all, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for all of you coming out. That's very important. I would like to have seen about 5,000 more of you here. I understand we don't have the room for that, but hopefully one day the crowd will determine that we do. That's one thing that's wrong with government right now. We're not involved enough. We're going to have to engage ourselves. We're all in this together, and we all have to do something about it, and where we start is by voting. For myself, this is my first time running for any kind of a political office. I've been encouraged to do so. I have basically reached a point in my life where I'm fed up. I'm tired of looking around and seeing other people decide for us, the people, what's best, whenever really and truly they have no idea, apparently. There's so much to be dealt with at the local level that I feel like, if for no other reason for me running, that I may encourage one of you to run the next time, and then someone else the next time. Running for office, you don't have to be somebody special, somebody elite. I would prefer to see average, everyday people running for office, because I know that they have walked a day in the life of the shoes of the common man. And that's why I'm running. And I feel like together we can make a difference. I feel like together, once we open up the lines of communication, we will be able to accomplish whatever goals we have in front of us. And right now it is jobs, it's employment. I heard somebody on the state level say that that's what this campaign, this election is all about. It's about jobs, it's about education. Well, he's right. And we can solve these issues, and we can solve them all together, in the same swoop, so to speak. I feel like education is the key. It's the one thing that we can address right now that can affect employment. How many teachers do you know out there that are looking for a job? I know many, many, many. So my point is that even though things may look gloomy at times, one thing to keep in mind is that we're on a level platform now. We haven't slid any further. We're standing still. We're stagnant right now. Every great balloon that gets inflated has to bust at some point in time. And that's where we're at right now. And it's time to pick up the pieces and make the decisions that we should have made a long time ago as far as what to put first. And that's us. It's us and our children and our future. And I'm John Craver for County Commissioner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Chamber?
First of all, I want to thank the Chamber putting this event on, the Gazette, for all the hard work that goes into it. I know this doesn't just happen overnight. I am Chad Brown. I'm 38 years old. I've been a product, I guess, of Gaston County for all 38 years. I've lived right here, except for the 11 years when I left to go play professional baseball. I got to see a lot of the country, and no place I want to call home except for Gaston County. I came back here for a reason, that's to raise my family, and this is what I want to do. I'm married. I have a wife, Caroline. I have two beautiful children, Luke and Chandler. We reside in Stanley right now, and I'm currently the mayor there. I am a product of the public education system here. Graduated from North Gaston High School. One of the things that I like to hold near and dear to my heart is what we can do for this county. And coming back here for this county, what I wanted to do was show a little bit of respect for what is given to me. This is something that is near and dear to me for a couple of different reasons. I want to be a part of helping to make this a hub of investment. The way I want to do that, I want to keep taxes low. I want to have less government restrictions. And I also want to make it a place where you can raise your family and have fun in doing that. I also want to improve our education system. My wife is an educator. I think the teachers have been dealt a terrible blow when they get some of the scores back that they see. They work very hard, and I think we just need to, don't mind funding the education system, but also want to hold accountable those people who, the school board, the administration, to make sure that they have the facilities and what they need. I also want to make sure that we go back to a place where we can live, work, play, and stay. That's what this county was founded on when the textile industry hit here and boomed, and we want to make sure we keep that. We also want to hold the four values that I hold closest to my heart, and that's God, country, family, and life.
Thank you, Ken. All right, now here's the way we're going to do it. We're going to have this opportunity for the lightning round, if you will. But we're going to group the questions for the county commissioners, candidates first, and let them go through their series of questions because there's some connectivity there and integration there with the questions. And then we'll move to the sheriff's candidates, okay? So let's see. John, you went first, so Chad, you'll take the first question, please. What experience do you have in working with the confines of budgets, negotiating and prioritizing expenditures, and what in your resume backs up your experience to manage to be a county commissioner?
That's a good question, Tim. I tell you, being the mayor of Stanley, we were faced my first year with a $200,000 shortfall. My challenge was to try to find a way to get that budget balanced without borrowing from the general fund. We were successful in doing that without borrowing one penny. We've also added a lot of, as you say, compromises. We've added over probably $200,000 worth of necessities that have come through acclamations of land, also through different ways of, we have a park coming to Stanley. So I guess working with a group of 5 on my council there has given me an experience that I would say is second to none right now, just because of the challenges that we face in a small economy in a small town. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
I worked for Lowe's for 10 years. During that time, I started out as nothing. $6.75 an hour, hourly wage earner. Now, during that 10 years, I progressed very rapidly. First it was department manager, then it was zone manager, assistant manager, so on and so forth. Once they found out what I was like, and it takes a little while for people to understand and learn who you are, then they decided that I would be the one to go to the new stores, to open up the new stores. I developed a reputation for myself, one that was not surpassed. The thing is that I could go to these large big box stores with 200 plus employees. I could join them all together to accomplish a common goal. And we could make that store very successful. And we always did. And it was always above schedule, or ahead of schedule rather. Most stores take about a year, sometimes a year and 2-3 months to come out of the red. The ones that I was associated with came out within 6 months. And anytime you can get out of the red and get into the black that quick, that's a good positive thing. And if nothing else, that shows that I can start out not knowing where I'm at or what I'm doing as far as compared to someone else who has held a position similar. And I can surpass them. It's up to the drive in the individual. It's up to what's in their heart and what's in their soul. And mine is focused on all of you.
Okay, thank you, John. Now you get to continue to hold the mic because you'll get the first response here. We know that tax revenues are down. Federal stimulus dollars will diminish next year. How will you balance the county's budget, tax or cut?
Nobody wants to see a tax right now. Nobody wants to see an increase in anything that's coming out of your pocket right now. There's not a person in here, I don't believe, that would suggest to increase taxes. As far as balancing the budget, we're going to have to get a little creative. We're going to have to actually dig into it, find out what can be cut that's not going to hurt us so bad, find out what we can add to that needs to be added to. This question that you've given me, I cannot answer wholeheartedly because I haven't been in that position yet. I don't know every single thing that's in the county budget that we'll be able to adjust. It's just something that you're going to have to trust me that I'll put all of myself into and do my very, very best not to increase anything out of your pocket. That's one reason why you won't see me asking anybody for any donations for this election. Money's too tight.
Okay, thank you, Chad.
I would not support any tax increases. I would look for trying to find other ways to get expenditures cut down, make them more efficient. I think one of the most difficult things we face right now is the workforce trying to better itself to figure out how we can do it. I think we have to look at our own pockets. The way we run our family budget is, if we have more coming in, than we have going out, we're good. But if we have more going out than we have coming in, that's where the problem is. So I think on everybody's agenda, we need to make sure that we become more efficient with our expenditures, and I would say no to any tax increase for that.
Okay, thank you. And Chad, you'll get this question, this next question. And it sort of follows the same line of thought about, and what will you do in order to balance the budget?
I think what we have to do is go in and look at the budget itself and find out where there's some necessary cuts. I think one of the things you saw when I did my budget for my municipality was I had everybody bring me their budget. We sent it back. We want to make a zero-based budget. We found out what you can't live without. Tell me the things you can't live without, and then we go back and we start from there and we use that. We'll try to use a zero-based budget would be the best way.
Okay, thank you. John?
As far as balancing the budget,
Yes, sir.
that particular part. Well, again, it's something that I will have to involve myself into 100%. Balancing a budget, I can only speak off of prior business experience, what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done whenever balancing a budget. But these are things that all of us do in our daily life with our checkbooks, our spending for our children, our allowances that we give out. It's common sense, people. I mean, whenever you're looking at a budget, no matter how big, how broad, it boils down to common sense, and that's something that I have quite a bit of.
Okay, thank you. All right, John, here's another question for you. This is about education. Education funding will be a challenge both at the state and county level next year. How will you approach the funding needs for education in the county?
This is actually something that I've been discussing with several people. There's a lot of ideas on the table. It would be easy to say or to convince all of you that our money needs to go to our children. You would agree, and we would do it. But the thing about it is that there are other ways to achieve this. One suggestion was that to come up with a revenue source to help fund what you want to do with the schools. Because there's a whole lot that I want to do with the schools. I would like to see many more schools built to keep the classrooms small. I'd like to see a lot of teachers hired. I'd like to see their salaries increased. But in order to do all of these things, it takes a lot of money. And right now it's something that nobody has a lot of. So we're going to have to be creative in our decisions as far as how to fund things in the future. It's not going to be as simple as, well, we're just going to tax. It just can't be that way anymore.
My wife being an educator, I'd love to see that raise happen, but I don't see where that's going to happen anytime soon. I said a couple of things you see. We need to make sure we fund it. We had a $2 million initiative that came through a while back with the Middle School Science Initiative. It was very, very well received. It improved the test score. So we see that we have to improve it in the classroom. We have to spend that money there, but also we can't just throw it into a box and say, hey, go use, as a county commission, you don't get to aggressively say what is done with the money. All you can do is fund it. But, I think if we can hold people accountable at that level and make sure that we just try to get our ways and means of just being efficient. I think that's the biggest thing we need to do right now in our county. Also, by building schools, we need to fix the ones we have now. Brick and mortar is not going to be where it's at. We have people beating us every day in different countries right now who don't even have classrooms. So we need to figure out a way to make our education system better through what we have and also to get it a better experience because the teachers have it. We just got to get them the right quality of what they need.
Okay, thank you. All right, Chad, to follow up with a question here. Do you support or oppose providing cash or tax incentives to lure corporations to locate here in Gaston County?
I would say some of the things I would say I'd probably oppose the incentives in a whole, but I would say I want to give them something to where we can do it ourselves. We need to give them an educated workforce. We want to bring people here. We got to get them. Gaston College has one of the best resources we could provide for somebody. We have business parks and economic development. We have 3 business parks that are sitting empty right now. That's an incentive enough that what we're doing to make them show what we do. But we also need to make sure that we provide them with a better quality of life through our education system, through we need to count on water to grow some of these areas. Because we bring more people in here for working jobs, we're going to increase our revenue. So that's one of the things I want to do.
Okay, John, same question. Cash incentives or tax incentives to to lure corporations?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is how many jobs is it going to bring? You know, if it's a worthwhile cause, it's going to bring 500 jobs like Caterpillar did to Winston-Salem, and all because they have Forsyth Tech, which is geared towards accommodating them for training their employees to work on their equipment. Then, yeah, I would say that we need to consider the incentives. I mean, there's nothing wrong with offering an incentive. Starting a business for a small person is difficult enough. You try starting one for a big company such as Caterpillar or something like that, you know, you're going to need some help. Or you're going to want some help at least, because there are unsureties ahead of you. And what those incentives do is it provides a calming nature for the person starting the business. It provides surety, and it provides support. And if we're going to, the thing about it is that, you know, we're talking about incentives, bringing business here. We have to make other changes before we even discuss that. We have to address the schools, you know, and just like Chad was saying, you know, as far as our community colleges and things of that nature, we need to step those up. We need to be the elite whenever it comes to education. You know, this county can be the fine example for the rest of the state, for the rest of the country as far as that goes, as long as we decide to do things the right way. And what I'm suggesting here is that pour it into the education. You know, go ahead and build those new schools, because if you go back and you just doctor up what you've got, have you really made an advancement to the future, or have you just put a Band-Aid on something?
Okay, well, that's a good lead-in to this final question for you guys. And it is about the thing that everybody's interested in this county and in this country, and that's jobs. And so I want to continue the discussion and tell the group, tell the folks here what you would do to bring more jobs to Gaston County if you're elected. And if you can continue that same line of thought.
Okay. So sure enough, you know, if all we want to do is put Band-Aids on things, then sure, let's just go ahead and fix and put a little paint on some things and just call it even, or call it a day. But I'm for a lot more than that. And to bring jobs here, you know, you have to explore various avenues. Right now, we need to be promoting the small business leaders. We need to be promoting the people who are interested in starting up a small business, but see it as something that's difficult, or because they haven't done it before, they don't know the steps, or they're unsure, or they're scared. So we need to have a support team for small business in this county. We need to be focused on the schools. We need to be focused on the education. I'm for a year-round school, popular or not. I think it's the right thing to do for the kids. The more that they're in this school system, and the more that the schools become the heartbeat of the community, the more success you're going to see, the more prosperity, the more progress, you know, diving into the future. But unless we go about it the correct way, you know, we're going to be right here 10 years from now.
Okay, thank you. Chad, how are we going to get jobs here?
I think one of the ways we look at, we got to ensure local involvement. We have to get the county involved. We have to get the municipalities involved. We need to work on building some higher executive end housing. We have the PNN Railroad that's going to be coming through that was worked on, where they're going to be providing some jobs in our workforce. We need to send out brochures. We need to find these companies who are willing to come here. But I think the biggest way we saw Gaston County bloom was through the textile days. They didn't take one company and just put it in one municipality. They put it in several municipalities with different diversity. We need to diversify what we have. We need to come out here, be strong, and make an education-based incentives to where we can say, hey, we have the workforce right here in our facility to bring these people to our county. Once they come to our county, we can provide them with everything else they need.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Now, before we leave this group, I want to provide you with an opportunity to ask each other a question if you so choose, or you can decide that you don't want to. So, John, would you like to ask Chad a question?
I said, how's the family? Chad and I, one thing I have to do is I have to tell you that that my fears for running for political office were ill-founded. What I found was that there are people, whether they're on the Democrat or the Republican side, they're good people. And that's one thing, and I know this isn't a question to Chad, but that's one thing I do want us to keep in mind, is that it is the individual. So whenever you're making your decision, and whenever you're going out and encouraging others to vote, You know, look at Chad and I as individuals. Don't look at us as Republican and Democrats. But anyhow, how is the family, Chad?
Great, thank you. I guess one of the things, and I'll just defer the question to it, is he's a good guy, but I want to make sure I tell him thank you and for all of us, everybody who's running for a candidacy, just thank you for trying to put your service out there, because it's not just you just running, it's your family. And when you put that family out there, that's the part that what is near and dear, because we all have families, we're out long hours, but it's just the working individuals, and I just appreciate you and thank you for your time for running.
Okay, thank you. And now to close out this this session or this segment, we're going to ask each of these candidates to take a minute and tell you why they deserve your vote. So we'll start with John. Any way you want to do it.
I like to stand up. I can see y'all better if I'm sitting down. I can't see any of you, except for the ones on the front, and I'm bored with them now. So, at any rate, you know, it basically comes down to who you feel like is going to be the strongest push for your best interest. And I know that I'm the person. Whenever I set my mind to something, it's on. I mean, that's all. There's no off switch to turn back off. It's on. It's full force. So whenever I tell you that I'm going to go after promoting job creation, whenever I tell you that I'm going to be creative as far as finding ways to fund the necessary items that we need, then you can rest assured I'm going to do it. And I don't have anything to lose with this campaign, but I have everything to gain. I have your respect to gain. I have your commitment to gain, to get involved in the near future, because it's going to take every single last one of us, and we're all going to have to be focused on the same thing. Nobody wants to sit here and see their family members and their friends suffer the way they've been suffering. So it's now. The time is now. Let's take a stand. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Chad?
First of all, I want to tell you it's going to be a difficult time for me. If I am honored enough to get elected, I'll have to give up something that's near and dear to my heart, and that's being Mayor Stanley. And those people know what I mean, what they mean to me, but also I want to take that near and dear future for every one of you citizens. And I want to work as hard as I can for Gaston County to promote what's good about this county. Not to give up on things, and to make sure that we go out here and we fight for what this county really means. And when it was a textile hub, we bring that back now to where we bring jobs back to this town. And my name is Chad Brown. I hope I'm your candidate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, I think we should give them a round of applause for being here tonight. I want to thank the Gazette for their sponsorship here this evening and the Gaston Regional Chamber.